Welcome back to the Sports by Schmucks podcast. It has certainly been a while since we haven't done this since before the NFL season started. And right now we are on to the NFL playoffs. So it's again myself and Sean McDermott.
Hello.
Get your name. Don't worry about that.
It's been a while since you're out of Saskatchewan now.
Yes, I have definitely relocated out of Southern Ontario to the warm climate of Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yep, that's exactly what they call it. So, Sean, you are battling a little cold, so if people hear you sniffling, whatever, don't worry about it. He's a trooper to keep doing it.
And I'm not contagious.
Well, not to anyone on the internet, at least.
There you go.
And so, just for people who are listening, we are recording this on Monday, December 30th at night. So, in case anything breaks after this, you'll know why we didn't talk about it.
Yeah. So also, Happy New Year.
Sorry?
Also, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year if you guys are listening to this after January, on January 1st. Maybe even if you're bored, you haven't met any new people, if you moved out west yet, maybe you can listen to it at night too, bring in the new year that way. But enough about me. Let's talk about the NFL playoffs.
Agreed.
So let's essentially the playoffs started in week 17 for the Packers and the Eagles as they had to win that. Well, their two games is the Packers beat the Bears, the Eagles beat the Cowboys. Those were essentially playoff games as they were for division titles.
Yeah, and same with the Chargers playing when you get in sort of situation as well over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the Chargers had a lot of help with the Dolphins losing for one part and the Ravens losing, so it wasn't as much as
kind of got screwed there.
Yeah.
Well, did you see the last second field goal that happened
in the Chargers Chiefs game?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that should be Pittsburgh in the potentially.
Well, it just would have made me right with one of my picks, but hey, who's counting?
Yeah, we're asking too much out of that one.
Okay, so let's go into the let's start with the AFC. We got the Chiefs and Colts in the one wild card game, and then we got the Bengals and the Chargers in the other wild card game in the AFC. So let's start with Chiefs Colts. Do you want to do something simple? Who you got?
You know what? I'm looking at this game and I don't know if I can pick the Chiefs.
Really?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the Colts. There's just something about them. I think Andrew Luck will lead him to victory in the Dome. And I've been high on the Chiefs all season. I just feel that the Colts are going to win this game. I don't have any logical explanation. I wish I could tell you why. I just think Andrew Luck is going to put a horseshoe up his ass. That's meant as a double entendre joke.
Yeah, normally he wears it on his helmet.
But yeah, I think Andrew Luck will lead the Colts to victory for no reason other than simple, stupid luck. That's it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going with the Chiefs. And I'm not saying this because I wasn't high on the Chiefs and I've learned my lesson. I'm saying this because somebody had to win the AFC South. It just happened to be the Colts. They were 6-0 in the division, and then 5-5 the rest of the way. So if you put them in a different division, they might not be a playoff team anyways. Especially when they lost Reggie Wayne, they completely went one-dimensional with the offense. And when Trent Richardson can't do anything ever since being acquired.
Bust, yeah.
He's been a huge bust for them. And it looks better for the Browns now that they got something for him actually. So. Yeah. And you know what? I think the Chiefs will just be. I think Jamal Charles had a fantastic stretch of games, and I think he'll be ready to go. I know he sat this week just because there was no point in him playing. So they couldn't go any higher than 5.
No.
So I think he'll be well rested, and I think he's going to be able to attack the Colts Colts defense. And on the field turf, it's a bit faster game, so I think that might help out Charles too.
No, I agree. As I said, if the Chiefs win, I wouldn't be surprised. I just have a sinking feeling. No, if you were to ask me, Sean, what you're going to bet today, what would you bet? I would bet the Colts for no reason other than just that's it.
Can you say that again? Our connection kind of got jumbled up there.
Oh, I said if you were to ask me today which team I'd pick and bet, it'd be the Colts for no reason other than just for luck.
Okay. Well, see, the thing is, I'd wait for the line personally. Let's go to Bengals Chargers now. As you already said, the Chargers shouldn't be beating this.
Yeah.
and
this game.
not for the fact that the Chargers didn't, you know, they didn't deserve to win in your opinion because of the field goal.
Yeah, they squeaked dead by an ass hair there.
Yeah. So Bengals Chargers. Bengals are undefeated at home this year, so that's why I'm going to stay on the Bengals.
I'm not getting off that bandwagon. I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, I don't think the Chargers are going to be good enough. I mean, I don't want to
Yeah,
discount Philip Rivers because he's had a great season, but there's just the Bengals at home. I'm not going against right now. They've just been on a streak at home, and you can't go against it.
yeah, especially when you're putting it in Cincinnati in the colder weather, and the Chargers have to come across the coast to come play. There's
Exactly,
no way the Chargers win this game,
and we've seen
especially
before.
the defense. Do we compete? The line's just gonna tear them apart.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna take Bengals.
we've seen before how the Chargers come across as well in the playoffs.
Yeah,
The last few years they haven't done well. Last few times they've been in the playoffs, they haven't done well when they've come across.
yeah. It seems like from New England, they're pretty much defeated already.
Yes. So those are so okay. So you got the Chiefs and the Bengals advancing in the AFC wildcard. So that means I have the Chiefs and Bengals. You have the Colts and Bengals. Either way, it's still going to be the Bengals playing the Patriots and then the Chiefs or Colts playing the Denver Broncos.
So I'm guessing who do we got for that?
Well, we could do that. I'm going to stick on Denver beating the win my beating my pick of the Chiefs. And even if they play the Colts, I'm going to pick Denver over the Colts.
Yeah, so am I.
And then you know what? I'm still not sold on New England this year, so I'm going to go with the Bengals over the Patriots on the road,
And I'm doing the exact same thing.
which leads to a Denver Bengals final, which I still
Oh,
can't go against Denver. I'm sticking with them because I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to jump off that shit now.
yep.
And
And I also picked Denver to make the Super Bowl, so I'm guessing sticking with them. But if there's any team that's going to challenge them, any team, it's going to be the Bengals.
why
The
is that?
Bengals can play defense, and they
Okay,
can
so
ball control with the law firm and Giovanni Bernard.
all right, so why
And
does the
so
defense of the Bengals match up so well against the Broncos?
they can pass rush with four, so they don't have they can sit back in coverage a lot better, so they can stop Peyton Manning from absolutely shredding their offense. Oh, sorry, stop shredding their defense.
Yes.
As long as Andy Dalton can actually stop turning the ball over and they hand the ball off, they have a chance on offense. AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, Gresham, they have a lot of weapons up there.
They
They can
do.
get it done. If they can control the ball and keep Peyton Manning from just shredding their defense for even just enough, I think the Bengals could upset over, say, the Patriots or any other team in the playoffs.
All right. I can't argue with the Bengals defense and how good they are, and that's why I've got them in the AFC Championship game right now.
Yeah,
So now that we've got the AFC bracket pretty much filled out how we think it's going to be, let's go to the NFC. I think it's going to be the better games, but like
agreed.
personally for both of them. We've got the Pack hosting the 49ers and the Saints heading into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, who are kind of a
God,
surprising team in the playoffs this year.
that is going to be a shootout and a half.
For sure.
That could be like over 100 points.
It could be. So let's start with that game since you've already started to talk about it. Who you got?
Uh,
Simply to start off with.
I uh, I hate the Saints just because they're division rivals of the Buccaneers, but uh,
Try to take that out of it. If you had
I know you just can't go against Drew Brees and how they're playing right now. Their
exactly.
defense is playing well. Drew Brees is an absolute stud. That guy's gonna be that's a first ballot Hall of Famer right there. Kenny Stills has become a super effective offensive weapon for the Saints. Their running game, if they could ever get something consistent going, this team would be unstoppable. Unfortunately, they can't hand the ball off to anyone that's going to go past 3 yards. So I still think they outpace the Eagles, but it also depends on how cold it is. If it's cold this weekend and possibly snowing in Philadelphia, maybe I put my money on Sean McCoy. I don't know. It all
See
depends
it
on
rush.
if it's snowing and ice cold there and they don't pass the ball and it becomes a running game, the Eagles can easily take this game and beat the Saints. But off the top of my head, I'm going to go Saints. If it's snowing and cold and rainy or just shitty weather, I'm going to take the Eagles.
Okay, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I know they're not as good as that Saints team all those years ago when they went into Chicago and beat Chicago in the snow.
Yeah.
in the cold and let's say frost because the snow was already on the ground. Um, they've been into Chicago. They got in there and won some playoff games in the cold before.
No, I know that. It's just I see their offenses very similar. They're both wide open spread offenses. They just go and attack. And then their defense have been playing very similarly well. They both play 3-4 attacking defenses, and they both been playing pretty well. I just think that the Eagles have a better running back if it goes into a shitty weather game. And I think LaShawn McCoy would take over again like he did in the snow game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. I know this is just a complete hypothetical question right now. If the game was reversed, if it was in New Orleans, would you have any doubt of picking the Saints?
No.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Um, I'm gonna pick the Saints like you did, mainly because it's so hard to go against Drew Brees, and when you have two quarterbacks in a game, one is Drew Brees, and I know Nick Foles had a great year, but he's still Nick Foles.
Yeah, you can't go against Drew Brees and Nick Foles.
Exactly. That's my main reasoning for the Saints. I trust Drew Brees more than I trust Nick Foles.
Which
But
makes sense.
if the Eagles won, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. If the Eagles win, it's gonna have to be a slugfest. They're gonna have to give it to McCoy and let
Exactly.
him just walk and full dominate. Him and
Exactly.
Bryce Brown will have to have the games of their lives.
Hmm. All right, so then we're going to jump to the Packers and the 49ers at Lambeau Field. And Lambeau was, at least it used to be pretty much if you played a playoff game in
Dominant
Lambeau, you
fortress.
weren't going to win if you
Yeah.
were the road team. Lately, it hasn't been that way.
Nope. As soon as Mike Vick went in there and defeated Brett Favre and the Packers, that just let the air of invincibility out of the Packers mystique in Lambeau Field.
Exactly, it got in your head.
Yeah, pretty much. And with that, with Aaron Rodgers back, I still even have to go with the 49ers. Even if it's on the frozen tundra of Lambeau, the 49ers are still a way better running team. They have a quarterback who can run. They have like 4 running backs who can run. The receivers are big body physical guys, so they can go up there and catch that pass. Their defense is overwhelming. I just don't see the Packers beating them. They're not better in any way other than at the quarterback position.
And that's the most important position in the NFL right now.
Exactly.
So that's why I think the Packers are going to be able to keep this game close. It's not, I think the Niners are going to win. I just don't think it's going to be by. I think it's
Well,
going to be a field goal or less, personally.
really,
Um,
I can see
mainly,
that.
mainly because with Rodgers being out for so long, it actually forced the Packers to develop a run game. And Eddie Lacy's come on really strong in the second half
Yes.
of the year. He's proven himself to be a number one back for the Packers, and I think he won't. He might not get as many yards or have as much of an impact on this game numbers wise, but he'll have the impact on the defense to say, look, they can actually run the ball now. We might
I
not
keep
be
them
able to
more
just drop
honest.
everyone back in coverage.
Agreed.
So for that
I
reason, I
still
think
I
it's going
still
to
have
be.
the 49ers, but
So I think it's going to be closer than than some people might think because I think everyone's just kind of picking the 49ers to win, just be already in the next round. But I
yeah.
think it's going to be closer than that, and I think the Packers are going to play them well, but just not have enough in the end.
No, I can agree with that. I don't see it being a blowout either, but I don't see it being as close. I see probably a touchdown lead, but it's a touchdown win by 49ers.
All right, all right. So then we both have the same picks here with the Saints and the 49ers going on. So the Saints would go travel would travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, and we already saw how that went this year. And
Yeah.
the 49ers would head to Carolina
Oh,
to take on the
oh,
Panthers.
that's gonna be a game.
That would be a slugfest right there.
I would love to watch the game. Cam Newton versus Colin Kaepernick,
Yes.
two of the most cocky, brash, new breed of quarterbacks are out there. Oh, I don't even know who I'd take in that game off the top of my head.
And not to mention that you have the dual running attacks for both
Oh,
teams. You'll have
yeah,
the with Frank Gore and then Colin Kaepernick, like you already said, and then
yeah.
D'Angelo
Jonathan
Williams and
Taylor,
Cam Newton, like on this side. The
yeah.
teams are very similar.
Olbert. Yeah, they're both deep at running back. They both have running quarterbacks. The 49ers clearly have a better passing attack and with the receivers and tight end with Vernon Davis. The line for for the 49ers is probably a little bit better. But that front seven, I know they both have amazing front sevens on the defense, but Carolina's front seven has just played so fantastic. Luke Kuechly is a beast.
Yes, he is.
That takes nothing away from Bowen and Willis, but Luke Kuechly is all over the field. Like, what do you have last game? A pick, a sack, and like 22 tackles?
I don't have
That's
the numbers in front of me,
ridiculous.
but that doesn't surprise me.
That's ridiculous. I was watching that game. I was like, he was literally all over the place.
So yeah, so I would.
I don't know who I'd take in that game. I think I would take. You know what? They're division rivals, but I'm going to take Carolina at home.
Sorry, they're not division rivals.
No, of my Buccaneers.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the teams are. I'm like, Sean, you know the NFL better than that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're taking the Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers.
It's hard for me to trust the Panthers coming into this year, but they've proven it time and time again.
Yeah.
You know what?
Like,
I think I have to go with the Panthers too.
Yeah. It's not that I don't think the 49ers can go in there and win. I just think Carolina at home, I think that intensity of the crowd will get them into it because they haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
I think that carries them to the win.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a close, grounded pound game. It's not gonna be a shootout at all.
No, you're definitely want to take the under if you're betting on this one.
Oh yeah.
And then so the next game we kind of touched it briefly with my comments about the Saints and the Seahawks.
Saints. I'm sorry, Seahawks.
Yeah, I don't think we saw what happened on that Monday night game.
Even if you were asking me if I didn't know that game existed, Seattle or Saints, I'm taking Seattle at home all day.
Yeah.
The only team that's really pushed them, other than the team that beat them, what team was that beat them?
I believe it was Arizona.
It's Tampa. So it's two different kind of teams than what the Saints are going in there against. Those are more ground and pound teams with a little bit of play action heavy, whereas the Saints are a pure passing attack.
Yeah.
And against the secondary, you just can't go pure passing attack. If they get the ground game going out there, maybe they make it close. But I don't see this game. I think there's at least a 10 for one.
All I'm gonna say about this game is just watch that game from before, and I don't expect much to change from it.
Playoffs are a whole different seeding. So.
I know, but we saw what Russell Wilson did on the road last year in Washington.
That's true.
And so he's already shown that he can win in the playoffs. So I think being at home where he's only lost once in his 2-year career, which is impressive enough as it is, I think it's going to be Seattle all day.
No, I agree.
So that sets up a nice Seattle-Carolina NFC Championship in Seattle.
Who would have thought you'd see this matchup at the end of the season?
Well, we both thought it was going to be. I think we both thought it was going to be Seattle 49ers in the final earlier this year when we did our preview.
Your podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Seattle.
Me too.
I can't go against that pick.
No.
Not that I don't see Carolina putting up a good fight, because that'd be a good team to go against them. Another good defense, good front seven that can control Marshawn Lynch. But I just don't think Carolina's good enough this year. They need a secondary to put them up the hump.
I agree.
If they were to go out and get a corner next year in the draft or free agency or whatever, they'll be set. They'll be that team. But until that day, they don't have enough to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
That and all depends on. But it also depends on Steve Smith's health. He's been unhealthy the last couple of weeks, so if he's unhealthy going especially that game, they have no passing attack.
And that is 3 weeks away.
True. But if he's healthy for the Panthers game, that is really going to limit their offense.
Yeah.
That's why it'll be a ground and pound attack the entire time of that game.
And so that keeps our picks with Denver, Seattle in the Super Bowl. I'm not going off Denver, and I doubt you're going off Seattle. So,
no.
So other than that, we're pretty well set in the Super Bowl. You know what's not? You know who's not going to be in the Super Bowl this
A
year
lot
or any year with their teams? Six
Buffalo.
coaches who were fired uh, since I guess when did Kubiak get fired? Week
Two,
12?
3 weeks ago.
Okay, so yeah, so we have six coaches who have already been fired. Possibility for more because we haven't heard anything about Jason Garrett or anybody like that yet.
Yep.
You have a couple other names you're thinking of. One of which
I'm
was
thinking Mike Munchak in Tennessee. I think he stays on. I think he gets another year. Jake Locker, I don't know if he's going to be staying there too much longer. And
I
Dennis
don't think
Allen
so.
with the Oakland Raiders. I think they give him another shot. He was just been handed a terrible team. But
Yeah,
he's done pretty well with what he has. So I can't really fault him. He hasn't had a quarterback. Like Mike McGloin, whatever the hell his name is. You can't have that guy starting on for your like team for like more than 2 weeks and expect to be in the playoffs or a semi-successful team. They need to go and get a quarterback of the future there in Oakland.
so you don't think Terrell Pryor is the guy?
You know what? I like Terrell Pryor, but I think he's gonna have the Vic kind of curse where he's got
Okay,
all the time in the world when he's healthy, but he's not gonna be healthy.
I could see that too. I agree with that. So of the six coaches that were fired, Frazier, Shanahan, Chadinsky, Schwartz, Shiano, and Kubiak. Let's go with a simple. Let's go with, I guess, a two-sided question here. Who was the most deserving and who was the least deserving to be fired?
Um, Most deserving. I have three for most deserving.
Oh,
I have
you have a three-way tie.
I. There's one above the rest, but the other two deserve to be in there as well. But
Okay.
I'll start with least deserving, Kaczynski.
Yes.
Why was he fired?
I don't.
I don't even get it. I just read an article. Just reading an article that like all the Cleveland, like a lot of Cleveland players are very upset to hear that he was fired. It's 1 year in. What do you expect? Let the guy like give him 2 years. If he shits the bed in year two, get rid of him. But you can't get rid of him after 1 year. After going 4-12, he didn't have a quarterback. You can't
Yeah,
expect him to play anything with Brandon Weeden.
or Jason Campbell, or whoever else they threw out there because they
Jason
both got
Campbell's
injured at points during the year.
exactly. Jason Campbell's a high level quarterback, or sorry, high level backup. And then who's the guy that got injured halfway that had him on the, like the little roll? I can't even remember who it was.
Neither can I.
Like who cares? He shouldn't be the starting quarterback anyways. You can't roll any of these guys and expect them to win.
I just
And
know that.
your number one pick from a year ago, Trent Richardson, who was doing nothing anyways, so be
Yes.
happy you got picked. Your defense was playing at a stupidly high level. You just don't have an offense. And Josh Gordon is the leading receiver in the league.
Yes.
Like, what more can you want? You don't have a quarterback.
Exactly.
You have all the pieces around him. It's like a KC situation. Maybe they're bombing for a high draft pick. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe.
Manziel declared today, so you never know.
And I think that yeah, then the two far out for Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Do you know the Cleveland Browns finished in the draft order?
Not off the top of my head.
Or I'm going to double
But they
check
were
that while
they
we're
were
talking.
4-12. Uh, the Texans locked it up with the number one spot at 2-14, and the Redskins were 3-13. So there are at least three.
So Houston 1, Redskins 2, Jacksonville 3, Browns 4, Oakland Raiders 5, Falcons 6, Tampa Bay 7, Vikings 8, Buffalo Bills 9,
Thank you.
Detroit 10, Tennessee at 11, Giants at 12, and who gives a shit about the rest?
Exactly. Well, where are your Bucks?
The Bucks are at 7.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry, I was too busy thinking about when the Bills were going to pick.
Yeah, you're 2 picks behind me, buddy.
Yes. Okay, so if you want to stretch with, I mean, I don't think Manziel is a top five pick, but you also
Uh,
have a pick late in the first round. If he falls, you have the Colts pick depending on how far they go.
well, you know, well, just like we'll be doing mock draft with updates. I'll be doing a after combine and then just right before draft mock, depending on work availability and life.
Sorry, you're kind
But
of before you continue, you're kind of breaking up on my end. So were you saying you're going to do a preview, a mock draft right after the combine, and then later before the draft?
yes, I'm going to do three drafts. I'm going to do the pre-combine. Sorry, I'm going to do the mock draft right after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yes. So like my initial thoughts.
Yep.
Um, I watch the combine like a big loser / Javnik.
Okay.
So then I'll get mine after that, and then I'll get my final one right before the draft as my final mock.
Good. All right, so that'd be some nice things to look at.
Yep.
That's something for you guys to look forward to in the future years on our blog, sportsbyschmucks.blogspot.com. It's in the link. It's in the description of the video. So my most deserving to be fired.
Sorry,
I
sorry,
agree. I
I said
agree.
that there's drafting out there for a reason.
Sorry,
I don't think Mandel will be in the top 10. People watch out for this name, Derek Carr.
brother.
That's a yeah,
Younger brother David Carr, right? From I want to say Fresno State.
yeah. Yes. No,
Yes.
no. Cal or
Derek
Fresno?
Carr.
Yes.
I thought he went to Fresno because he's playing
Yeah,
UCLA.
Fresno. Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Okay, sweet. All right, I could see that.
There's a bunch of quarterbacks that don't have the Mettenberger as well, that don't have the name there yet, but I think their draft performance will show up high. I think.
Just
I'm
whoa,
about
whoa,
this
who.
for now.
Let's save it for. Let's save it. Let's have the people come back for that.
Sure.
Okay,
Don't give
so
up.
back to the coaches. I agree with Chadinsky being the least deserving.
And
My
then
most
Leslie.
deserving is Jim Schwartz out in Detroit.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. He completely pooched the pooch on that one.
Exactly. Lost 7 straight to close the season. You have Matt Stafford. You
And
have
Megatron.
Calvin Johnson, and even
You
the
have
Reggie
Bush.
Bush and what's his name, Jordy
Eric,
Bell. They were was it Jordy
you
Bell?
have Jordan Bell. Who?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Who came? Oh, Joaquin Bell.
Joaquin Bell. Sorry.
And
Anyways.
then you have a better offensive line this year. Your
Yeah.
defensive line is carried by two absolute studs, plus Ezekiel Amba, who had a pretty decent rookie year. Your linebacking core and your secondary, but passable during
Yeah.
your pass rush. You should at least be 8-8, at the very least.
They should have won that division hands down, based on the Packers falling off with Rodgers done and the Chicago Bears being the Chicago Bears. Sorry, Kieran. They should have won the division hands down.
Yeah, that's yeah. The only other person I can possibly think of being fired for worse reasons or for more deserving reasons is Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan had all the pieces in place set up for that big year this year. RG3 coming back for a knee. Okay, we didn't expect much from RG3. At least I didn't this year. I expected him to play more normal, more human, and he did. But he didn't play bad enough where he cost his season for Mike Shanahan. Yeah, Alpha Morris had a down year, but still had a decent year. They just weren't running with him. You had the wide receivers, you had the tight end, you had your offensive line. They got a Rackbo back, Kerrigan. They should have been a lot better. They just struggled, and I don't have no idea why. That must have been Shanahan RG3 relationship that maybe screwed that up, but they should have been a lot better than what they were.
Yeah, I definitely think that the relationship between Shanahan and RG3, the battles they've had out in the public, certainly didn't help Shanahan buy himself any more time for
No,
one
no,
more
no.
year. Like say, even if he could say, hey, look, next year with Robert healthy, you know what, maybe we'll have a better year with him being fully healthy. But they might have been a bit more lenient that way if they had not had the public spats all throughout the season
I
and
agree.
previous off season.
What do you think about Leslie Frazier being fired?
There were very high expectations in Minnesota based on their playoff performance last year. But again, I don't want to say it's the same level as Chadinsky because Frazier has had some bad years prior to this year, but they had very high expectations this year. Probably unrealistic, especially when everyone knew Peterson they're just going to hand the ball to Adrian all day, hence the name. And they still don't have a quarterback, really. I'm not sold on Ponder. They ended up bringing Matt Castle in for a few games.
And Josh Freeman.
Yeah, you know all about Josh Freeman.
Yeah, this is going to lead to my next big coach firing, which is going to make you laugh / applaud.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna try and hopefully the connection holds up for your rant against Shiano here. But yeah, I think Frazier deserved to be fired. I'm not surprised by it, but I think I think Schwartz deserved it more based on what he had in front of him. He had a more complete team than the Minnesota Vikings to work with. I just think he blew the division. It was their division to win when Rodgers went down, and he blew it
Yeah, Schwartz was an easy fire.
for sure.
You can't let that happen. Frazier, you know what? I don't think he should have fired.
Why not?
He had a bum quarterback. There's nothing you can do when you have Christian Ponder or Castle playing for you. There's just nothing you can do. It's kind of like a Broad Trubisky situation. He had the parts around him. He had AP. He had Cordell Patterson. He had Greg Jennings. He had the tight ends.
Oh, and Cordarrelle Patterson will probably be either he or Eddie Lacy will be the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
Defensive line, even defense. They they have the pieces there. They need a stud quarterback. So with a high pick, the 8th, look for Manziel possibly going there.
That'd be a good fit.
That would be a perfect fit.
Yeah.
They'd be able to scramble, be indoors. Actually, they're getting a new stadium. Is there a new stadium indoors or outdoors?
I don't remember the schematics for it. I have looked at it before. It's a very modern looking stadium, if I remember right, but I don't remember if it was a dome or not.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I know the Falcons are getting a new one. It looks terrible.
Really?
Yeah. If you get a chance, take a look at it. It's
all right.
Not the prettiest.
I will.
So let's get on to Kubiak first because I want to see my Greg Schiano rant for last. There might be a couple of F-bombs. You might
all right,
censor it out.
I don't mind about censoring. It's YouTube. Who cares? The only thing I'm going to say about Kubiak, we kind of talked about this before. Yes, Kubiak deserves blame, but you're not going to win many games in the NFL when Matt Shaw plays the way he did.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where they're like, hey, let's just see what we got. Let's see what we got and tank, essentially. Try and get a high pick. Because when you think about it, if you who is the kid from Texas Tech who was playing? I can't. The name is escaping me right now.
Quarterback?
Yeah, the quarterback. Maybe he's not from Texas Tech.
Case Keenum.
Yes, sorry, he was from Missouri, wasn't he?
No, from Texas. I'm pretty sure.
I know he's a Texas player. Maybe he was Texas. Anyways, it's not important.
Texas.
The point is that if you believe he could be the guy this year, maybe you take Clowney, and then you have a defensive line with Jadeveon Clowney and JJ.
No, you take Teddy Bridgewater. You take Teddy Bridgewater.
I know.
If you don't take Teddy Bridgewater, that entire organization deserves just to collapse.
Yeah. I know. I'm just trying to give a different look, but yeah, they're going to take Bridgewater. Okay. Now, do you agree with that Kubiak statement? Do you have anything else to add?
No, that and injuries.
Yeah.
They're going down for most of the year. Cushing being injured. They're just ineffective. This year was supposed to be their big Bowl year.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe he got the job and he just collapsed.
All right. So
he didn't look the same this year. He looked like he was scared in the pocket, especially after he got injured. At the end of last year when he got his ear kind of like torn off.
Yeah.
He just wasn't the same quarterback. He just had like his spider sense tingling at all times.
Yeah.
Whenever a player got near him and just drop it off and he'd be pecked off.
Well, we've seen Brady the last couple of years do those phantom ducks every now and then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he's still Tom Brady. Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes.
I don't need 2 minutes.
Pardon?
I'm just gonna throw a couple F-bombs and that'll probably be it.
Okay. So
Schiano, he wasn't actually that bad of a coach. It was just the systems that he ran were terrible. His offensive coordinator didn't know how to throw a pass. Well, he didn't want to throw really, really deep passes or run off and on like 3rd and 10 to run the ball. Like plays they're either gonna pass really deep or heading off with a draw. It was the most predictable offense I've ever seen. You knew it was coming. I could sit on my couch and predict the play, and then it'd pop up, and then two yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then they got injured, and then another fullback after that. It was a nightmare between Mercer, Josh Freeman. Another story. That was a big fucking catastrophe.
Okay, stop for a second. Thought for a second. You were breaking up on my end.
Oh, sorry. Josh Freeman catastrophe. What a shit show that was. Yeah, there's just no way he was going to survive this year. He had all the pieces in place. Josh Freeman had the potential to be a franchise quarterback. Big arm, big guy. But $1 million arm, 10-cent head. He couldn't get his shit on straight. Dark Martin is a franchise running back. I don't care. He just got injured this year. Even though Mike James and all the other running backs that stepped up did a fantastic job. Wide receivers, Vincent Jackson did fantastic this year. Mike Williams got hurt. Maybe they should be back. They need a slot receiver really badly. Tight ends completely off. Wright did come on this year and had a pretty decent season, so he should probably stick around. Davin Joseph, offensive guard, former Pro Bowler, cut him, cut his salary, move Donald Penn to right guard, potentially draft another left tackle. Defensive line, if Jadeveon Clowney can get him, or Anthony Barr or Khalil Mack from Buffalo, go and get him. You need pass rush. Linebackers are fantastic. Monte Davis is probably one of the best underrated linebacker in the league, even better than Kuechly, I'd say. Cornerback, you have Revis. Done. That's my man. I'm glad she's on. Get a better coach in there. I'm hoping Lovie Smith, and he brings Jeff Tedford in there, but that's the biggest rumor I've heard so far, and I'm hoping that actually sticks through. And that's my rant.
All right. Sean's rant on the Buccaneers, everyone. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah,
put up with a lot this year. Put up with a lot.
Yeah. I've been keeping that rant in. I was going to write an article about it, but you know what? That's kind of petty. I'm just going to make a big rant on a podcast and have it be that much.
All right, so that pretty much wraps up not our podcast, but our NFL talk for the podcast. We've been going for about 35 minutes now. So let's just get into it is the end of the year. We already mentioned that. I tried to get you to listen to this at your New Year's party to tell your friends. But let's just go with our wins and fails of the year. And
high five and face palms.
Sorry, what was that?
Our high five and face palms.
Did I say wins and fails?
You did.
Okay, well, high fives and face palms. Thank you,
what
Sean.
A typical podcast.
Yeah.
Spotify Schmucks. You special around here.
Anyways, because I want to go out on a high note for the new year, let's start with our face palms.
Our face palms first, yes.
So I'm going to start with mine since we talked about what ours are going to be, and mine kind of leads into yours. Yeah. In a way. I know we said no more NFL, but we talked about it before, and you know what? I got to say my biggest face palm is Raheem Moore. You can't blow that play as a National Football League level safety. You have to be able to stay behind, like that drive. All you have to do is stay behind the receiver
and tackle him,
and you're probably in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, don't try to be a hero. Just play safe.
You'll be the hero by playing it safe and making the tackle. That's all I have left to say about Raheem Moore because it's as simple as that. I mean, that was almost, I want to say video game logic, but Madden has come a long way with their secondary actually.
Yeah, you should play Madden 14 for the PS4.
Maybe one day, Mr. Moneybags. Let's go to your face palm.
So it seems we talk a lot about NFL on our podcast. We should probably change a little bit.
Well, I would, but we start talking about the NFL and you talk for about half an hour on it, and then you're almost run out of time.
I'm very passionate.
You are.
But yep, yours leads into mine is the Super Bowl power outage failure.
Womp womp.
Good job, New Orleans. Way to have your power grid back up.
They were just it was just the Undertaker coming back a year early.
Yeah.
That's all
3.5 10 years ago. You should have some power back. Too soon?
Well, sorry.
I said the Katrina power.
Oh yeah, that's not in good taste.
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
For that. Still, don't have power going over the Super Bowl. Considering that let Baltimore come back instead of the 49ers winning another Super Bowl. I almost say Grey Cup there for some reason.
Yeah, and I think you said that having the Baltimore Ravens come back when the 49ers came back.
Yeah. And then I guess I'll talk about my high five.
Yeah, go right into your high five, and yours is a very good one, a very good story.
Well, it's a bad story leading to a good story.
Well, it's a good result.
Exactly. So my win for the year, I guess, a high five would be the Boston bombing, which is not a high five, but the Red Sox.
Please.
Yeah, but the Red Sox win the World Series later that year, and kind of uplifting the city of Boston and bringing them back Well, not that they need to, because you got the Patriots and the Bruins and all other good sports teams there, but given that uplift at the end of the year to kind of wrap that year up of shitty crappiness, and then Big Poppy's speech saying how this is their city, this is their fucking city.
Yeah, you could say it.
On the middle of like Fox television and national television, and not one person being upset.
Not even the FCC was upset.
Exactly. You can't be angry at that. It's Big Poppy, and it's Boston, and it's just after the bombing. Well, a little bit after the bombing and all that. That was probably one of the best moments for me this year.
Yeah.
That speech that Big Poppy made on the mound, fantastic. And what is your high five there, Brett?
Well, my high five for the year, uh, it's not as deep as yours, but it's one of those moments where I'll probably remember exactly where I was and what I was doing uh, for a while when this happened. But I'm going with the Auburn Tigers upsetting the Alabama Crimson Tide on that field goal return for a touchdown by Chris Davis.
My
I
God,
mean,
what a ridiculous play!
it was, and I remember watching it on TV because I was taught. It was just after I moved here. I just got cable earlier that week, and I was on the phone with my dad because I just assumed this game was going to overtime. So I was talking to him about the game, and then all of a sudden, as I'm talking to my brother, because he jumped on the phone, all of a sudden Chris Davis is running it back, and my dad turned it to the Leaf game because he thought it was going to overtime, and I'm just yelling, "Oh my God, they're running it back for a touchdown! They're running it back for a touchdown!" And my brother's trying to get my dad to turn the channel, and I could just hear him frantically telling my dad to do it, and just wouldn't do it. It was a fantastic moment for not just for me, of course, but think about it, what it did to the BCS. I mean, for the last year for the BCS,
Alabama's been one, and they have not moved.
yeah, it threw all the plans out the window. It's going to be Alabama, Florida State into the national championship game, but Auburn threw the wrench in there. They won, and then Ohio State lost. Florida State is still in it. It just showed how crazy the BCS can be and what could happen just because of the BCS, and it threw it up into, just blew it up one play with Nick Saban calling for one more second and getting it. And that just goes into a whole other conversation about why Nick Saban in the first place even wanted that 1 second. He shouldn't even need it. He should have kicked a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down late in the fourth quarter. And just, if you can use a different kicker, why not use the different kicker for the chip shot? There's so many different things about this game that made the ending so special that it just culminated in the Chris Davis return for a touchdown.
Yeah, you can't argue that. That was one of the best plays that's ever happened in college sports.
Yes. I mean, it rivals up there with the band is on the field.
Yeah. That and the Doug Flutie Hail Mary.
Exactly.
Those are three of the plays I remember that come up almost instantly when I could think of college football.
All right, so we're getting close. We're actually we're out of topics right now.
Actually, I have one more. It's just a honorable mention fail.
Okay.
For this year, and that is Aaron Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Murderer himself. You're an effing idiot.
Alleged.
You screwed my Madden team. You screwed my fantasy team. I hate you. I hope you go to jail and get raped.
Wow.
That's it. You won't be a tight end anymore, sir.
Wow. Okay. Yes. So condolences to the family of the people that he allegedly murdered.
Yeah, that too.
It's a terrible story, and there were flags all over, and that's why the Patriots were able to get him in a late round. But you know what? There's nothing you can really say about it other than he might have murdered somebody, and
we had a Ray Cruz it up.
Exactly. He wasted a career. There are so many people who would give anything to be in his position as the tight end of the New England Patriots. With that caliber of play,
Tom Brady,
he threw it away for a beef with some guy at a club.
That's why America, you shouldn't have guns.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to end on a happy note, but you kind of threw that in there. So everybody have a happy new year. Safe and healthy, all the best. Make sure to, read our blog post on sportsbyschmucks.blogspot.com. Follow us on Twitter @sportbyschmucks. And then we also have a new Facebook page. It's facebook.com/sportsbyschmucks. Like us there. We post everything across all 3 social media networks. So, you know what? If you want to get in contact with any of us, that's probably the best way to do it. Sean, I saw you tweeted about the UFC thing. Kudos to that.
Oh, got it. Oh, that injury.
Exactly. I think for sure for me, the next live tweeting thing that I'll do would probably be the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the next thing I do.
Just let everyone know I'm a big UFC guy, so I decided I'll put Sports by Schmucks. I'll be doing some UFC stuff as well.
Good. We want a nice cornucopia of stuff on our website. So for Sean McDermott, thank you for listening. I'm Brett Smith. Catch us in the new year. Hopefully we'll be able to do this more often now that, you know what, I might actually have time for this because I'm all alone in Saskatchewan. Good night, everybody.